Hey there and welcome back to our channel. Bees are doubtlessly considered very beneficial to humanity, but they can just as well be pretty harmful. Did you know that between 2000 and 2017, 1,109 people died from bee stings, with roughly 62 fatalities each year? Yeah, me either, and those suckers are not fun. So today we're going to break down some of the most dangerous bees and wasps in the world, and let's stay away from number 5 and 3 as much as we can. No, thank you. Number 11, the Africanized honeybee. Number 11 is the Africanized honeybee, also referred to as a killer bee, and is mostly found in sub-Saharan Africa. The Western Hemisphere, which includes the US, has just been exposed to these little buzzballs of death. Although Africanized honeybees seem just like regular honeybees, their behavior is far more aggressive. The way that European and African beekeepers extract honey differs. According to experts and researchers, this could be a major contributing factor to the degree of their aggression. When it comes to defending their nest, Africanized honeybees become even more aggressive than other bee species. Because of their small size, their deadly nature stems from their propensity to attack in large numbers rather than from the strength of their venom or the persistence of any one individual bee. Now, if you think the Africanized bees are aggressive, then you haven't seen the next thing on our list. Number 10. Carpenter bee. It's a result of their ability to burrow through wood to construct their homes that got them the name carpenter bee. Although only female carpenter bees are able to sting, male bees frequently exhibit aggressive behavior when protecting their nest. When they detect a threat, they frequently swoop down on other insects and animals from outside the nest. A female carpenter bee sting is extremely rare, but when it does occur, it hurts a lot more and deters predators better. Compared to honeybees, carpenter bees are substantially larger, with a shiny black abdomen and a thorax coated with white and yellow hairs. Male bees have black heads adorned with white or yellow markings, while females have black heads. As aggressive as the carpenter bees may be, they're not as crazy and as venomous as the yellow-footed wasp. Number 9. The yellow-footed wasp. Often referred to as black-breasted wasps, yellow-footed wasps are the bigger members of the wasp family. They have developed into one of the most lethal wasp species and exhibit extreme aggressiveness. They have strong nesting instincts and are extremely venomous. A swarm will always fight and pursue intruders and adversaries if it believes that its safety has been compromised. And the next item on our list has seemed to find its home with people. Number 8. Honeybees. These days, domestic honeybees are also referred to as European honeybees, as they are everywhere in the US, which explains this. Since the level of hostility varies throughout colonies, honeybees are not generally thought to be particularly violent. They are frequently small in number, yet they always react to disturbances or threats. Honeybees have an impressive array of defenses in larger colonies, which perfectly reflect their high degree of hostility. As the honeybees are everywhere in the US, so is the next almost everywhere in the world. Number 7. The European wool carder bee. One of the bee species with the greatest distribution is the European wool carder bee. With the exception of Antarctica, it's present on nearly every continent. When it comes to creating and guarding their nests, these bees are renowned for being comparatively solitary because each female is in charge of creating her own house and depositing eggs. But when protecting flower locations for females, male wool carder bees are infamous for their extremely hostile behavior. The reason the male bees are so hostile is that they protect the locations in the hopes of mingling with the female, frequently repelling other woodcarder bees in order to have an opportunity to procreate. Woodcarder bees are hairy insects with vivid yellow markings on their bodies. To deter predators, males have 5 spines on their abdomen. Usually larger than males, the females have white hairs on the underside of their abdomen that they use in gathering pollen. And next up, we've got number 6, the stingless bee. These bees are most frequently found in places like Brazil and other parts of South and Central America. These bees are known to be aggressive, and even though they're unable to sting, their bite is not that dangerous. The stingless bee strikes in large swarms when they sense danger, making loud buzzing noises to confuse the predator. Their primary defensive strategy involves finding and entering the attacker's body's openings, then making a nest in its fur or hair. Like the Africanized honeybee, they're able to detect the chemical trails left by other bee species, which they can use to attack them for resources or territorial disputes. These bees have an amber-brown color, fuzzy hairs covering their entire body, and severely sharp teeth in place of stingers. And if there's any stinger to totally avoid at all costs, that would be the next on our list. Number 5, the landmine bee. The massive quantity of venom in the landmine bee is the reason behind its famous name, and that's the reason it made it as a number 5 on this list. It will cause an excruciating wound if it bites someone. People report experiencing mouth and nose numbness and darkening of the eyes in just a few minutes. In less than 30 minutes after its sting, the wound becomes excruciatingly painful. People commonly faint from the pain, as it's going to hurt 7 to 10 hours and takes just 2 to 3 stings to become very fatal. Number 4, the black velvet wasp. The black velvet wasp is number 4, which is also known as the black-bellied wasp. Typical features are more down on the body, a red and black dorsal plate on the thorax, and a dark black belly. It's known as a killer wasp because of its aggressiveness. Black velvet wasps are among the top 3 in venomous wasps. Its venom is a neurotoxin. Immediately after being stung, the skin becomes red and painful. Severe cases can even cause death. Which immediately brings us to number 3, the Japanese hornet. Now, even though this thing sounds like it ought to be a fighter plane or a wrestler, it's actually not. These things treat their adversaries with the utmost cruelty. Their enormous 6.5mm needles are impressive to say the least. The ejected venom is also an extremely caustic enzyme. Hell Hornet is the name of the game, and although they rarely attack humans, their stings can be excruciating. If a hornet sting goes untreated, a person can die. Meanwhile, the main cause of the 400,000 deaths caused by hornet stings in Japan each year is venom allergies. Which brings us to number 2, the black shield wasp. The reason this wasp is number 2 is because the thorax is black in color and nearly totally yellow in the abdomen, and this is its most distinctive trait. In terms of toxicity, this wasp is about the same as the yellow-footed wasp and ranks lower among giant wasps. Nevertheless, getting stung by this thing can lead to shock and potentially death. Okay, you know what? You love it. You've been waiting for it. Here it is. Number 1, the golden-ringed wasp. Okay, this thing is known as the biggest wasp in the world. This thing is hyper dangerous and incredibly aggressive. It's also got a lethal needle measuring 6.25mm in length. This wasp is the most vicious and toxic wasp ever. A bite from 20 golden ring wasps at once has the potential to be heavily fatal. The majority of its toxicity, or almost half of it alone, comes from its venom. Getting stung by a bee or a hornet as dangerous as the ones mentioned earlier is not an experience worth having. Insomuch as the honey from bees is delicious, the stings are the direct opposite and not worth experiencing. Now, if you've ever been stung by a bee or a wasp and you want to share, let us know in the comments below. And while you're at it, please kindly remember to give us a thumbs up and a share, as this helps our viewership and longevity. And as always, thank you very much for choosing to spend your time with us today. We'll see you in our next video.